I know I'm supposed to be doing an intro right now, but kind of gotten lost in the music. Like, I played the other two games, obviously on this channel, and I swear the music gets better every time. But now, for a proper welcome. Welcome, everyone, to... Oh, hang on. Welcome, everyone, to the next Let's Play that hopefully will continue on this channel. Shadowrun Hong Kong. It's the latest game from We Are Harebrained, or Harebrained Studios. Too used to their Twitter handle, We Are Harebrained. Yeah, so there's obviously a lot that's been going on and not going on with my channel lately. I'll probably get into that as we go through this, but I really want to start this game. I helped kickstart the... not the game, but like the extras that came into this game. So like, you know, a bunch of extra features, reworking of mechanics and stuff like that. And I have to talk about one thing before we start. And I don't usually do this, but there was a big jump of quality from Shadowrun Returns to Shadowrun Dragonfall Director's Cut. Like, just massive mechanical improvements, a lot of ease of use stuff. And, like, I was looking through options, just setting this up as normal, and I realized that they actually made a change to this. Like, a huge change to this in terms of usability. Where, like, because you could run this at 1920 by 1080, but it wasn't, like... it didn't scale well. Everything still had the same size, so it was all like this. Some stuff was hard to read in that. And then I go through this options menu, and I see, like, this massive... or one of these massive improvements to usability. I'm like, this is going to be good. Like, I don't want to jinx myself, and I think Harebrained have made some great games, but if that's any indication, this ought to be really awesome. So I haven't seen anything other than, like, Kickstarter stuff, so in terms of story and that, I'm completely unspoiled, unlike the last two games. So, let's just jump right into it. Okay. So, I was playing the last games on very hard. I can't actually remember if there was an easy in the previous games. I want to say yes. Oh, man. I actually kind of want to go normal, because I was getting my ass kicked in Dragonfall. It was getting really, really frustrating, and... yeah, I think we'll go on normal to start. If we're breezing through things, I might just kick it up. Because, as much as I want it, I want this to be difficult, but I don't want to be, like, spending... okay, well, I'm going to spend a stream doing an entire section over and over again until I actually get it. Which I actually did for the previous games. So, character. We're dropping... for anyone who's watched my previous two Let's Plays of the Shadowrun games, I'm not actually going to be running with Alexi this time. And the reason for that is that he was really, like, encroaching on other people's roles in the last games, and I looked at the cast for this game and I was like, oh, great. The Shaman Sniper is probably gonna... it's probably gonna, it's too similar to a couple of people's roles, so I'm not gonna do it. Instead, I'm gonna be rolling with a character I rolled the first few times I played Shadowrun off stream, and that is a elven lightning mage called Audra. First off, let's pick a portrait. Oh, man. Kinda want to do that, but that's not... if we got any mohawks. Any mohawks at all. Well, actually, this is what, this is the portrait I picked in the previous two games. Oh, man, the first part of this video is going to be entirely character creation. I can feel it. Yeah, I think we're going to go with this, and then we're going to change the hairstyle a bit. Come on, where's the mohawk? I think that was the one I've chosen previously. I'm trying to recreate this character as much as I Whoa. That's different. I'm trying to recreate this character as much as I could. Because I have a thing for just role-playing these, like, characters that persist across games. I find it really, fun to play with. I think that Mohawk we found before was the closest to what she's had previously. I don't think there's going to be a there isn't going to be a portrait matching this. Unfortunately, I didn't go so far as to kickstart this to the point that I got custom portraits. Although I'm kind of regretting that, but then again, I wasn't in a position to do that at the time. I think we'll go the silver. Yeah. I think we'll go with that. Alright. Stats. Let's go. Karma represents the experience characters earn while running the shadows and achieving goals. Karma is used to improve attributes and skills. An attribute or skill rating can be increased by spending Karma, equal to the next increment of that rating. Thus, improving your body from 4 to 5 requires you to spend 5 Karma points. You have some Karma available now to customize your character. I'm really glad they put that to begin with, because I spent an inordinate amount of time creating my previous characters, explaining what that was. And, really, I was actually reading that myself so that, like, there weren't changes that I didn't realize actually happened. And then I'd go and put points in, and I'm like, oh, that doesn't work the same way. Oh, shit. But anyway, Wisdom is where we want to be, because we want to be spellcasting a lot. What kind of weapons did Audrey use? I'm pretty sure she relied on a pistol. So dragon lines visible through dragon lines. Are they replacements for ley lines? So ley lines were runes that you could find throughout playable combat areas that would like empower you depending on how big they were. I'm gonna go ahead and guess that their replacement is dragon lines, because that would make sense. We are going to... let's bring this up to 4. So I think we want a good increased spell slot. What's the next one? Hermetic magic. Used to calculate the chance to hit with hermetic spells. Increasing the skill unlocks spell slots and the ability to see dragon lines. Was that not already... dragon lines visible through that. The ability to see dragon lines. That's confusingly worded. Huh. I must admit, I'm much more of a fan of their previous version of this tree, because it's not clear that dodge doesn't go into ranged combat other than this cutoff. Oh. Actually, I take that back. That's another way of doing it. I'm not necessarily a fan of it, but then again, I don't have to be a fan of it. Yeah, I was confused for a second, because I'm like, wait, why is dodge governing ranged combat? That seems strange, and yet no points in it. Yeah, we'll put a couple in ranged combat, just to give us a few basic things. Audra is, like, to begin with, I'm going to have to rely on the pistol a lot. As to how much I'm going to have to rely on it through the game, I don't know. Yeah, let's get a new etiquette. Sounds like a good idea. Because Audra is a bit of a silver-tongued devil in some cases. Very, very light, but very powerful with magic, and very quick on her feet. In conversation, not actually quick on her feet. She tends to take a lot of hits that probably should have been dodged. But if you've seen any of my Let's Plays before, you know that most of my characters get hit by bullshit all the damn time. Which is kind of why I'm glad I'm not doing very hard. That being said, what etiquette do we want? Shadowrun is usually not a good one to take, because there's not a lot of Shadowrunners you need to, or at least previously, there haven't been a lot of Shadowrunners you need to kind of sweet talk. Gang is a pretty solid one to pick. Academic, it makes sense for this character, but I'm more willing to go with Gang at the moment. More for metagame purposes than anything else. And we're not going to be doing any conjuring or spirit summoning, so we're not going to be putting points into that. I don't know, we might go for a lightning barrier. That might be handy if I have like a lot of spare karma points that I'm not using, but I can't imagine a situation that would actually be the case. I am actually going to do that because I want to see enemy HP all the time, or at least with Audra. Usually comes in pretty handy. 3 more. 3 more. Could just put another point into ranged combat. Wouldn't be a bad idea. We don't really need the weapons slot, but I'm pretty sure... Yeah, it's a chance to hit, so... Yeah, why not? We'll go with that. Although, 30 hit points, on normal I should be fine with that. Yeah. Yeah, we should be fine. Let's confirm. Oh, and because I'm pretty sure this is because I'm an elf, I get to actually choose an etiquette. I've already chosen Gang. I think Shadowrunner... I don't think Shadowrunner is going to be a good one, unless this game is the first one that actually pits you against other Shadowrunners. Then that might come in handy. And not an antagonistic sort of thing, but you usually didn't see a lot of Shadowrunners in the other games. There was like 1 or 2 people you could kind of talk to that would give you a bonus for that. But I think academic for this character I much prefer. Oh. Oh. Man, this is gonna be one episode of character creation. I have never had to put first name, last name, and street name. Shit. Okay, I think street name is gonna be Audra. Because that's more related to her ability, her lightning abilities and that. It's kind of where she got the name, and she's only really known as that. Never had to think of a first name and last name for her. Although I think Aubrey is a pretty good one. Certainly sounds a lot like Audra, at least at the beginning, so kind of root name sort of thing. It makes sense in that way. Last name. I could really throw anything here. I was unprepared for this level of character customization. Like, I was really worried about stats being, different and maybe treated slightly differently, but this is the greatest challenge of all. Pick a last name for the Shadowrunner you play. I mean, it's not uncommon, don't get me wrong. But in these games, I'm just like, I was not prepared for this. Aubrey... I want to use something with L. A last name with L. Lannister. No. There's no way. I'll just make one up. Aubrey Lindau, otherwise known as Audra. Confirmed. And so we begin. Oh, I cannot wait for this.
You have one new message.
Hi. It's Raymond. I hope I have the right number. Look, I know we haven't spoken in a while, but I need your help. Remember the day I took you and Duncan off the streets? I told you that the past is just a story, That if you can just accept that, your past loses all power over you. Yeah. I was wrong. I'm on my way to Hong Kong now, to finish something I should have faced a long time ago. And I need you with me. I know we're not blood, and we didn't leave things in a good place. But you and Duncan are the only real family I have.
This is unusually unsettling.
If our past means anything to you, meet me in Hong Kong right away. I'll explain more when you get here. I'm begging you. I'm almost out of time.
I think we might be a bit too late. As a side note, I really hope I didn't turn the sound down too low, because that was kind of low on my end. Oh well. Let us begin. Hard landing. Raymond Black. The old man gave you a home once. Took you and Duncan off the gang-ridden streets of the Barrens. Sheltered, educated, slapped sense into you both, until you almost resembled productive members of society. And then you took off. Left it all behind. Landed behind bars for a time, tried to start a new life after that. It's been 8 years since you've heard Raymond's voice, until out of the blue, you got this cryptic message, a plea for help. Meet me in Hong Kong, right away. And wired to your account, enough new yen to pay for the flight and then some. The descent is rough. The squall comes out of nowhere, sending a solid sheet of rain punching into the suborbital transport. With a ragged shudder, the plane finally skids to a halt at the edge of the Czech Lapcock tarmac. An hour and an Can't get past the first screen without screwing up the dialogue. Holy crap. Interminable? Interminable. Interminable number of emotionless security checkpoints later, you hail a water taxi to Victoria Harbour. Hong Kong looms ahead, pulsing with energy. Oh, I actually have to click that instead of the screen. Okay. See you, boat. You step from the churning of the water taxi to the ponderous rocking of the docks, your stomach lurching at the transition. As soon as you're clear, the captain nods once and steers the small craft back into the harbour. The man never said a word, just handed you a worn brown duffel bag when you stepped on board, filled with gear, some stiff new body armour, and a note. Better safe than sorry. D. Above, smog-thick clouds hang low in the sky, reflecting the lights of the city in a nauseating swirl. The wind changes direction more than once, creating a heady stew of aromas. Diesel, sea salt, street food, and filth. It's all you can do to keep your in-flight meal where it belongs. Two figures stand waiting in the dim light of the pier. The first is an orc, lean, and in your face muscles, and a jaw made to break fists. The second is an elf, one hand resting casually against her hip. Raymond Black is nowhere to be seen. Duncan. Well, don't you look like shit. Duncan Wu, the closest thing you have to a brother. You haven't seen the man in 8 years. Still as charming as ever. He grins. Green's not really your colour, Aubrey. Doesn't go with that nice new armour I got you. As you open your mouth to respond, something shifts alarmingly in your stomach. A liquid, bubbling sensation. Don't know what you're talking about. Must be the Harbour Lights messing with you. Must be. Guess you've still got some of your old fortitude, at least. He laughs. Considering how much synthahol we used to put down, I'd be surprised if you couldn't handle a little chop. Anyway, we gotta go find Raymond. Find Raymond? I thought he'd be here. Never showed up. He's still got the same baritone rasp. Had it since he was 12. Wu developed early. And I'm not gonna try and imitate that voice. I don't think I'm in my... I can barely pronounce everything correctly sometimes. Enough to be confident that I could actually imitate everyone's voices. So, you'll have to apologize to... I have to apologize to everyone on that front. Did you try him on comm? No clue where he might be. When was the last time you saw him? No sense standing around then. No clue where he might be. No. Wu rubs his head. But I just checked in with the local PD and morgue. If he's dead, his body hasn't turned up yet. That's a good sign. I guess. Should have waited there and called me. What do you want to do now? You seem kind of tense. You're eating through... you eating enough fiber? You worried? Yeah, I'm worried. Wu rubs his head. He's an old man. He's out there alone somewhere. Ray's a smart guy. He can take care of himself. 65 isn't that old, Duncan. I get it. Okay, now I'm worried. Ray's a smart guy. The orc bows his head. His voice sounds far away. He's not the same, Aubrey. Raymond hasn't been himself in a long time. How so? He's been restless, staying in his study, inside his own head a lot, and he barely sleeps anymore. I've been worried about him, but I haven't figured out what to do about it. He looks up at you and shrugs. I didn't have a sister to turn to. Hell, wasn't too sure you were even alive still, until Raymond managed to track down your number. The woman standing beside him breaks in. We should get going, Duncan. Head back to the meeting point in case your dad shows up. Copy that, Sarge. Sarge? They're wearing Lone Star body police... Oh. They're wearing Lone Star body armor. Looks like Duncan Wu's gone private police. Sarge? The woman taps her chest with an armored finger. Carter, Seattle Lone Star. I'm Duncan's partner. And superior officer. She grins. I let him carry my coffee for me sometimes. Write my parking tickets. That kind of thing. I figured I could use some backup. Didn't know what raid got himself into, and I wasn't sure you were going to show up. It's a tossed off remark, but there's an undercurrent of resentment in it. Something you want to say? Well, surprise, here I am. Of course I showed up. Yeah, well, I wasn't so sure, you know. He shakes his head. Hey, look, I'm glad you're here, Aubrey. Seriously. But I'm gonna need some time to get used to having you around again. Been a while since I heard from you. Know what I mean? Memories of sleepless nights in lockup flash by, wondering if you'd ever see Duncan or Raymond again. Wondering if you even wanted to. And then, stepping out of into the daylight, suddenly free, the fallout of some obscure corporate restructuring. A few hundred new yen worth of apology from your former jailers, and a decision to start a new life. To leave the past behind. All of it. Until now. I know I've been out of touch. Yeah, we'll talk about it later, okay? I had my reasons. Can we leave it at that? Yeah, we'll talk about it later. Wu stares at you, his goggles reflecting the harbour lights. Yeah. Okay. He scans the waterfront, frowning. Let's just find Raymond. He was supposed to meet us in the plaza on the other side of this pier. The sooner we find him, the sooner you all can have a big, happy family reunion over dinner. Carter grins. And the sooner I can find a place to get a drink around here. Damn right. Ahead of you, Hong Kong rises, serpent-like from the sea. Government and megacorp coiled together, writhing in their basket of institutionalized corruption. No one can tell where the snake's body ends and its tail begins. That's what Raymond used to say. Duncan turns and starts down the pier. Carter follows.